Grass is Always Greener is a new dance theater show that exposes the struggles immigrants face when they enter the United States. And Anabella Lenzu, the artistic director of Anabella Lenzu Dance Drama, is here to tell us how this piece also depicts some of her own personal experiences. Anabella, it's a pleasure having you here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Miguel, for having me.
The Grass is Always Greener. Tell me about this particular show and what inspired you to create it. You're the creator of it, right?
Yes, yes. I'm the choreographer and the artistic director of my company. And, well, it's been 20 years as my experience as a dance educator, and this is the 5th year of my dance company here in the United States. I'm originally from Argentina. Well, as a Latin choreographer in New York, I feel that I need to talk about so many experiences to be an artist in a foreign land. And The Grass is Greener is my personal story about to be an immigrant in the United States, but as well is connected with another image and another experience and the history of the New York immigration, because we mix stories of immigrants that they came to New York City from Ellis Island, from around the world, specifically from Italy, because I'm the 3rd generation born in Argentina. I mean, I can talk about what it was, this immigration after the Second World War in the South America,
from Europe to South America.
Exactly. I mean that, and I hear so many stories every day that I feel that I need to talk with movement, with poetry. My show is a combination of dance and theater.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, because you're talking about telling a story, and normally when we think of dance, we don't think of how do you tell a story with dance? Tell me, how do you tell a story with, and what is this story? The Grass is Always Greener. What is the story that you're telling?
Well, the story is an immigrant coming into a new country, coming into this absence country, because we use a lot of poetry by Gabriela Mistral. They're talking about this empty country that have no name, and in this nameless country you're going to die. And to ask yourself, where is your homeland? You know, the place that you're born or the place that give you the breath. This is always what my grandfather from Italy told me. No, what do you consider is your homeland? Tu patria. And it's so many questions. That's why last year we did a small preview about this show, but it's taken us 2 years to put it back, to put it on stage, and it's going to be premiere at Baryshnikov Art Center. And I feel very responsible. This coming fall,
right? When is it being presented?
This coming fall. It's going to be in September 9. It's going to be the preview, and then the full length show is going to be Friday, September 30, Saturday, October 1st.
Okay, so what happens in the show? What is the story that you tell? Is a story of illegal immigrants coming across?
Yes, yes, and it's also stories of people that come through Ellis Island. Mix it, mean that we have immigration of 1940.
So you're talking about the whole history of immigration to this country in one single show.
Yes,
and so
it's a lot.
how do you illustrate the difference between the immigrant who came from Ellis Island, through Ellis Island, and the one who comes now through Mexico?
Well, the feelings are the same. The feelings are completely the same. What we do is I collaborate with my husband, Todd Carroll. He's a photographer, and I ask him to help me to visualize and put these characters in place. I mean that he used some material for the archive on Ellis Island. They allowed us to use by permission this, and also photograph immigrants today and stories today. I mean that this show, besides to be dance, we have a lot of spoken word, and we combine text of Gabriela Mistral, text of some movies that some people know, Golden Gate, that is told about an immigrant story that came from Italy. I mean that we use a lot of line for this movie. And now we are working in these sections that we take lines exactly for cases that happen in immigration to the United States. I mean that we say exactly lines about that. And the cast is, we are 5 women, all women, and talk about these stories, what is to be deported, what is struggle to find a job.
So there's dialogue as well as dancing.
Exactly. That's why the style that we pick for this show is dance theater, because we combine. And we have the luck to have some guests that come to train us, because we are all dancers, and we have some actors for the Worcester group that come to train us for the boys, because we are not prepared to do that, but we have so much to say that we need to talk. The movement, in this case, sometimes the dance is so much that you don't need words, but sometimes you need to be so specific that you need to ask for a word. And it's like
so there's very
deportation.
little dialogue. Most of it is dancing,
It's
but there's a
dance
few
and
words
dialogues.
that give you a key of where you're going
Yes,
with the
yes,
performance.
Yes, yes. And the people ask me after, come to the rehearsal, but this is a true stories? Yes, it's based on true stories.
And are they shocked because the true stories are too hard for them to deal with?
Yes, sometimes yes. But, one of the questions that I ask myself, this show, it doesn't matter if you're an immigrant or no, you can get touched because in some time you departed from one place to the other. Maybe you live always in the United States, but you departed from your home to a new place.
So what you're saying is that this is universal. This should apply to everyone, not just to the recent. Your audience should not just be the recently arrived immigrant.
No.
It should be everybody.
Yes.
Absolutely. And what kind of reaction did you get when you did present it? You said a couple of years ago?
Yeah, last year we presented, it was a preview at the Merce Cunningham studio, and it was, for the audience, it was like a 50 people. 10 was very touching and crying and come to approach. They couldn't talk, and we feel that. And some people, they react completely different, or indifference, or even like, why are you talking about this? Why you don't just dance? And as a Latino artist and as an educator, I feel the urge to talk about what happened, where we are, and what is the sign of grain that we put in our society. In my case, with my tools that I know how to do, that is dance and choreograph.
And you mentioned your husband and you mentioned his photography.
Yes.
So what happens is, as you are dancing or performing, his images are projected.
Are projecting all over. Are projected to us. Are projecting on the audience. Are projecting on the floor, on the ceiling.
Okay.
Everywhere. It's a surrounding atmosphere.
And what he projects are images of pictures that he has taken of new immigrants.
Yes.
Plus 5 old immigrants from Ellis Island.
And it's amazing, this imagery from Ellis Island.
Just
to see the contrast. Yes. Yeah. These faces in the waiting room and faces in the waiting room now. Maybe the waiting room is different, but the same feelings. We are dealing with the same feeling, doesn't matter.
One of the things one of the issues that comes up when we deal with immigration in this country nowadays, and illegal immigration, is always Ellis Island. And you get people who say, oh, well, my grandparents came legally. They came through Ellis Island. And many of these people don't realize that when everybody who came to Ellis Island came illegally. Yes. Because they didn't have prior permission when they got on the boat to come to Ellis Island. They got here hoping that they would be accepted once they arrived.
Yeah, and
but there was no prior permission.
And many was sent back. It's so intense. We did a lot of research with the company. That's why this show took us 2 years, because we went to the Tenement Museum, I think at least 10 times, to talk with people that know about the history. That we went to the Ellis Islands many times. And it's a constant research to these stories, to the voices that wasn't not here before through dance.
Okay.
Yeah.